What's up, everyone? We're back with another episode today on Park Westmont for a groove by ALBY with no other than international DJ and also Montreal based JaBIG. How are you doing today, man?
I'm good, thanks.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for accepting my invitation. You know, we have something in common. We both born and raised in Africa.
Okay.
For me, Morocco. For you, Rwanda.
Yes.
So, first thing I wanted to ask is, what are like your childhood memories? You know, like music-wise, like growing up in Africa.
So I grew up in actually, even though I was born in Rwanda, I grew up mostly in Kenya, in Nairobi, and I went to an international school. So what happened is that I had music from everybody
Yeah.
from various parts of the world. I got exposed to like obviously the usual like pop music from the US and music from um, Latin America, music from Asia, like Samba, la chanson from France, and all these music genres. And of course, Kenya was very into hip hop was becoming a big thing, house music was becoming a big thing, dancehall was a big thing. So I really got the privilege of getting exposed to a lot of sounds, which ultimately influenced me because I get to pick bits and bits of from here and there. And of course, I can, even though I'm specialized in house music, but I still have the ear to, I can play anything, but I still have, I use the benefit that I have a wide range of music to sort of like, have like a unique set.
Yeah. What kind of access would you say you had, either like gear or like music, growing up like in Africa? Was it like very like straightforward or like different like variety? Even like for gear, what was it like in Kenya? Also, you went to South Africa and we
Yeah.
know like South Africa is huge for house also.
Yeah, so I had equipment that anyone would have, either in Europe or North America, because we started off with with cassette tapes and CD players, and then I moved on to turntables with vinyl. But the SL1200 is a universal, instrument, so it's run worldwide. So that's what I had access to. And I started small at heart. I mean, obviously, also it goes without saying that I was a child. I was 14, so I was playing at house parties and school events. So we had to use whatever we had at our disposal. And then of course, as I turned 18 and I grew older, then I had access to club gear. But then when I turned 22, I moved to Canada, and that's when things sort of like took off for me.
Yeah. So yeah, that was like the natural next step. So you came here in 2002,
2002, yes.
I think. Why Canada?
My parents moved the family here.
Okay.
They figured, they wanted somewhere else, and they figured, oh, let's take our family to Canada. So we moved here.
Okay.
So I came here with my parents. So
Okay. How was like the Montreal nightlife back in the early 2000s?
So when I got here, it was mostly house music, and it was, Saint Laurent was happening. It was the place to be. And I got lucky when I moved here. I got straight plugged into the scene, thanks to Jojo Flores and God Soul. They welcomed me with open arms. So right away, I was able to get plugged into the system. So it was really, lots of house music, lots of, it was like deep house and soulful house were not mainstream, but you could go to a club and play a set and have people dancing and enjoying it. And it was, hip hop and urban music was taking over, and eventually did take over, and house music went back underground.
Amazing. Like the best time, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, it was good, but also, I was younger, I was new to a new country, so all those factors probably played a key role. But I mean, I have very fond memories of those times, and I cherish them forever. I mean, we'll never get them again, but also that's also because it was a different time of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it like easier, you think, to find like gigs, to be like included in the like community? You will say like when you arrived, like was it easy like to find gigs?
For me, it was easy because I got connected to Jojo Flores right away. So, and since he was a big player and he's still a big player in the industry, he was able to plug me into the, into the music scene. So for me, I'm fortunate. I had it very easy, but for others, I couldn't say, I mean, it's really up to also somebody's, you can be the most talented person, but the name of the game is marketing and self-promotion. So, naturally I tend to be good at that, so for me it was easy. However, but I still think nowadays it would be easier because now the barriers of entries have fallen because now anyone can be a DJ thanks to access to technology. And yeah, so I think now would be better, and there's less gatekeeping because
Yeah.
it's less cliquish. Now anyone can go to a club owner and tell them this is who I am, and if they like, and if the club owner or the restaurant owner or the lounge owner says I like what you do, the person can get started because the equipment is easier to get, the music is easier to get, and it's more affordable. So I would say now breaking into the scene is much easier.
You think this is like the biggest difference between now and like 90s to early 2000, like the access, like the facility to have, and also like the technology?
Yes, I would say technology, 100%. Way back when a single cost $15 on record. So to get 30 records, that's a lot of money. So, and if you didn't have gigs, well, you couldn't have the money. So that means you probably would be a hobbyist and just purchase records for yourself. And the few of us who stuck with it would just spend most of our money went back to purchasing records. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, now it's even worse. You don't even have to go to Tracksource or Beatport and download tracks. Now you can go to Spotify and all these streaming sites and then just stream your music without even owning it.
Yeah. You like you said, you started with cassette and eventually like vinyl.
Yes.
Are you a big vinyl collector?
Not really. I have vinyl that I used to get way back when, and sometimes I'll get a record or two. And the reason is just because my lifestyle, I'm very nomadic, and I don't have most of my belongings are in storage. So perhaps the day I get my own house and I settle down, which I don't see it happening anytime soon, perhaps I will get a record. Because when it comes to DJing, I prefer to DJ with vinyl. There's no argument about that. I prefer vinyl. It's more fun. It's more tactile. It's more like it's my hands-on. So I prefer vinyl. But for now, I really wouldn't say I'm a big record collector. I'll be a liar if I said I would.
Was it hard to do the switch to digital for you, or was it like natural, you would say?
Digital is easier, so therefore it was easier because now like I said, now we didn't have to go and purchase records. We could just go on. How did you get MP3s? I don't remember. I mean, we got CDs. People would release CDs, and then you could have a CD. The CDJ had come out, so it was easier. I mean, it was easier. You could loop, you could do so many things that you could never do with vinyl. And you didn't have to worry about the record skipping. You didn't have to worry about, like making sure that the turntables were set correctly. And of course, you could have more music to your gig than you could ever bring with vinyl, which is not necessarily a good place because more choice, creates more confusion. However, the ability to know that you could play any gig, even, more music, was made life much easier.
You play a wide range of music, like genre. You can play soulful, house, disco, Latin, Afro. I saw like on your YouTube page, with your mixes, uplifting, down tempo. How much time do you usually spend listening to music?
Well, I listen to music. Strangely enough, I don't listen to music as background music. Strangely enough, like for instance, when I'm at home and I'm doing something, I don't have music playing in the background.
Oh yeah.
When I listen to music, is I sit down and I'm doing the act of listening to music. Okay, I'm gonna listen to music. Yeah. So even in my car, I don't even have like, I don't even know. Like I turn on the sound system maybe once or twice to listen to the radio because I had a passenger and they wanted to listen to. Because I like to be alone with my thoughts. That's what I like to do. So, but I do listen to music. I will dedicate maybe like 3 hours a day listening to music, but actively listening to music. And that means, you start with one track and then you end up, and then you go, before you know it, you're somewhere else that you're not supposed to be. And, for the most part, I like to go, for instance, on Tracksource and see what's happening and, and get new tracks. And like I said, from there, click, okay, what did this artist do again? And then you do this. And then before you know it, your like cart is full of 100 tracks. Now you have to decide, okay, do I really need to purchase this, or is it just for me to listen, or can I share it with with the world? And sometimes because I'm like, I'm not too sure and I don't want to risk it, so I buy it, And then who knows? And the interesting part is that maybe that one track I purchased, I liked, I will maybe play it like 10 years later. That's when the perfect moment comes when I get to play that song. But when it plays, I'm like, yes, it was worth it.
So it's really like, it's a job then. It's a job to listen to music. It's not like, because usually when people listen to music, as you said, like you do something in the same time.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's not because I don't like music. It's just because music distracts me. When, let's say, for instance, if I'm writing an essay and I listen to music, I'm gonna stop the essay and I'm like, yes, that bass line. Yes, that loop. Where is that sample from? And then before I know it, I never, so it's a lot. It can, and the irony of it is that I have mixes on, some of my most popular mixes on YouTube are to help people concentrate and have background music to work. But for me, it's the opposite. Music distracts me. It's the same reason why I cannot go work in a cafe or in a busy place, because I'm always like, okay, what's going on here? I need like absolute silence, So yes, but I do, like for instance, sometimes when, like for instance, usually when I finish riding my bike, and and then I'm like, okay, I'm getting changed and I'm getting my food ready. Then I listen to music, but that's because I'm in my festive mood. But that's because those tasks do not require a lot of mental concentration. They're just mechanical.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you talked about your mixes on YouTube. You have more than 400K subscribers on YouTube, which is very, very impressive, I have to say.
Thank you.
How important is social media nowadays?
Well, unfortunately, now the name of the game is social media. Basically, you are famous. Your gigs are determined by your fame, not by your your skills,
taste of your skills, your taste of music. Yeah.
However, I have an argument about that. Now you see a lot of people complaining about that. But then I also argue that before, to make it big as a DJ, you have to produce. You have to have a hit record. And for me, I had a problem with that, because with DJs, with DJs, how come that it's not your DJing that makes you famous? It's your hit record that makes you famous. So at the end of the day, it was a little bit, skewed, because it was not your DJ talent that got you there. It was your producing abilities.
Yeah.
Now, you don't need to produce anymore. You just have to be famous and, make some silly, fun TikTok that attract people. And you have an audience, and then you get your gigs. But of course,
you think that, like, I mean, it's like very small percentage, but I would say like 99% of well-known DJ, they are still producer, right?
I would even say 100%, because and the ones who were not, and the 1% that was not, they either had like contacts, meaning they owned a club, or they were radio DJs, big time radio DJs. It's very few. Actually, one of the few DJs I can think of right now is maybe Carl Cox, who got famous just by the act of DJing and remained famous by the act of DJing.
Marco Carola also, I think. Like this one like pops on my head. Maybe.
No, because I know his music.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's a long time ago.
Because I know him through his production.
Really?
Before his DJing.
Okay,
yeah.
wow. I didn't
know what I mean?
Okay.
So
my mistake.
Yeah. No. It's not a mistake. It's perception, right? Yeah. And I mean, Carl Cox has releases.
Yeah, but he has a lot.
Yeah, he has releases, but they never really. I mean, name one. I couldn't tell.
He has a remix, very famous, like a soulful track,
Yeah, but it's not what made him. It's not what he was. So he was already a famous DJ.
Okay.
And then he started producing.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's one of the few that, for me, he's like actually the true. That's why I look up to him, and I'm a big fan, because the act of DJing got him there. The fact of to go out there and play for crowds and make people dance, do it for like 3 decades. It remained, without relying on hit records. You know what I mean? Now, I am not saying that it's good or it's bad. I'm just saying it's the reality of life. So therefore, if that happened and people didn't have an issue, they shouldn't complain when social media is the new production.
Yeah.
But also, number 2, at the end of the day, we live in a capitalistic economy, in a free world. That's what happens. It's you cannot keep the music and then want also the freedoms that come by living in a democratic society. That's how it happens, Nowadays, you need to be handsome and you need to be good looking, and, whether you're male or female, and then that's going to get you an edge. But at the end of the day, I could argue that, you know, when you have a musical talent, it's also you're born with it. So, you know, if you have a talent, if you think about it, some people have to learn to play music hard. So in the theory of the people who say that people should work hard, people who are talented musicians shouldn't do anything because for them it's a talent. You know, you see people just go in the studio and then they slap songs together or they play keys like God. Well, that's the natural talent. So if I was gifted with beauty and this and that, if I were one of these like handsome or, you know, beautiful people, I would also use it, because in life you have to use whatever is you dealt with. You know what I mean? So that's why for me, even though I'm not bummed, I'm just I accept that's how it is. You know, and I look at, for instance, on YouTube when I started, I was the only one. The only thing that was my YouTube channel, and which is still, it was just my cover face and then the music. But now the videos that get millions of views are, you know, people are dancing and people are like, you know, basically most of the audience is going to be men, but something that men, you know, it's going to be someone that men like to look at. And the music almost, you know, of course you have to have good music, but you need to have like that, you know, extra. And that extra, well, you know, it's being good looking and, you know, having moves that people like is an asset.
Yeah.
Do I complain about it? No, because it's a game of life. Because just as when I started on YouTube, I had the foresight and intelligence to know that this technology was going to be the next big thing. I knew from before it was a thing, I knew that YouTube was going to become the number one streaming, you know, music streaming.
When did you start YouTube?
2009,
Like early 2000, basically.
like no YouTube started in 2006 or 7 or 8, but it was like maybe 4 or 5 years after YouTube got launched.
Wow.
So I was the first one. I remember, my YouTube got so famous so fast that I used to be on first name basis with the YouTubers, you know, with YouTube, like the YouTube company. They used to, you know, I used to send emails to the big executives and this and that. And then as soon as it took off, well, and people started getting millions by doing other things, you know, now I don't even know. I think if I sent them an email, they would send the police at me.
Okay, so just like on finishing, you know, on the part of the YouTube part, just talking about your deep and dope mixes.
Yes.
What do you think? Like, what sounds like is really like your mark, or like what people like reflect through your mixes, basically, because you have like so much like diversity, you know, on the mixes, and it's like I said, like sometimes it's uplifting, sometimes it's down tempo. It's like so much like different style.
I think the two biggest compliments I've gotten from people is the first one being, I just press play and I don't have to worry about anything because everything is good.
Wow.
I mean, that is the most, that is flattering. And before I never used to believe it. I'm like, no, but then I'm like, okay, who are you kidding? You have millions of views. Well, you know, stop with the lack of self-belief. I mean, look, millions, people on the internet are free to do whatever they want. If you have millions of views, it means that, you know, there's something that millions of people like.
Yeah, you do something great, yeah.
Yeah. And then number two, I found that most of the time it's good music, but it was more about what the music did for them. You know, like I was sad, I was not well, you know, like for instance, I'm going to give you 2 examples. Some guy writes to me, and he tells me, listen, my girlfriend passed away 6 months ago. I've never been able to sleep. And today I listened to all the music mixes and I got peace and I was able to sleep for the first time. Thank you very much. You know, and I was like, wow, that's very moving. And then I get another email from a gentleman saying, listen, I was having friction in our family. We were having a friction. You know, we're not going to get along. I thought that, you know, my kids are turning into teenagers and we couldn't, you know, friction. And then we discovered your music. And then now we listen to your music as a family. It's something that brings us together. Like when in the kitchen, we make music together. We make food together. We listen to music and you become part of our lives. Thank you very much. You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then, you know, one day I was, you know, I get an email, someone saying, hey, do you DJ at weddings? I'm like, no, I don't. I'm not a wedding DJ. They're like, well, can you hear me out? I'm like, yeah. So it turns out the bride, the would-be bride was at the library. They were both at the library at university, and she had her headphones, and she took off her headphones, and the music was playing. The guy goes like, oh, that's not very nice. What is it? No, it's a guy called JaBIG. You should check him out. That's how they met each other. So therefore, they wanted me to DJ at the wedding, which was in Tofino, somewhere so beautiful. So it turns out what my music did in people's lives is what matters to me the most, you know.
Yeah.
Because you know, I mean, some people want to leave a legacy, they want to live like big buildings, you know. For me, the fact that I was able to do something that touched millions of people's lives, and you know, it's literally millions, you know, it's literally millions. You know, for me, I mean, I don't want to die soon, but if I had to die right now, you know, I think I've done enough. You know, I've done my bits and pieces, you know, I've done enough, and I'm very happy about that.
It's, I mean, you know, I was very amazed when I saw like your YouTube page. I was like, damn,
Yes.
he's famous, like really famous, man. It's amazing. It's amazing. And like all the process, like from like Africa, then you came here, and like, I mean, you could do like crazy venues basically, like with all the experience and all the, you know, all like the knowledge you have. Like you could do like, I mean, as I see, you know, like your knowledge and stuff, for me, like you can do like crazy things.
Yes, but I like my life simple. You know, I like to ride my bike, you know, have like a very simple life, and you know, I like to keep it simple because stress, I believe stress is the number one killer. And you know, the more you do, the more problems comes with it, the more responsibilities. You know, like for instance, right now, tomorrow I can pick up and just go somewhere wherever I want, you know, because I travel light, I don't have much in life, you know, and so, you know, yeah, I could. And you're not the only one, you're not the first one who tells me that. But yeah, I'm happy, you know, it's about being content, and I'm happy where I am. I mean, I want a little bit more, but the more I want it, I don't want it with the extra stress that comes with it. Like for instance, look at being an international DJ. You know, one day I traveled with an international DJ, one day. I mean, one weekend. I mean, no, not 1 weekend, 2 weeks. We went on tour. We started in Montreal, Toronto, Dubai, San Diego, London, and then went to Ecuador, and then we're back in Montreal, and then went to Las Vegas. And then I was like, if this is what international DJing is about, I'm not interested. Because, I mean, I hope I'm not being disgusting, but I could not go to the bathroom for 3 days because my body was so confused. And I couldn't sleep, my eyes were like killing me. And I'm like, you know, I was like, if that's what being an international DJ is about, no thank you, I'm not interested.
What kind of like gig you do usually?
Most of the time, when I'm abroad in Montreal, I usually do more like, you know, hotel, lounges, you know, restaurant, like very laid back gigs. But when I'm abroad, you know, internationally, I do play at clubs.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna end up soon, but as always, I always do like the last part is a quick like rapid fire question. So it's like 1 or 2 words, and it's the first thing that it's either like the one or the other, you know. Excellent. Or the first thing like that comes to your mind. Okay, so I'm gonna read the question for this. First one is sunrise or sunset set?
Sunset.
Indoor or outdoor venue?
Outdoors.
Favorite city to play?
London or New York City.
Vinyl or USB?
Vinyl.
Bicycle or DJing?
DJing.
Okay.
Music will always come first.
If you could play one track for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Pepe Braddock, Burnt.
Okay, I had to listen to this one.
Yeah, it's 10 minutes. It's like 11 minutes of absolute euphoria. That would be it.
Is it like a house or like soulful?
Yeah, it's a deep house track.
Okay.
By definition.
Okay.
But when it came out, techno DJs were playing it, deep house DJs were playing it. You know, like it was one of those that just goes.
Nice.
It goes, you know.
Yeah, it goes like in wild range. Okay. One genre you secretly love outside of house?
Banger music.
Okay. Montreal bagel or New York pizza?
Montreal bagel. But in all fairness, though, I don't like pizza to begin with. So.
Okay. Drinks during your set?
I don't drink alcohol. I drink water. But even with drinking water, I limit my water because then I have to go run to the bathroom. So.
Yeah.
So, you know, just enough to keep myself hydrated.
Okay. Last one is one DJ or artist that influenced you the most during your career?
You know what? Sasha and Digweed.
Oh wow, it's not really your style though.
Not my style. But for me, if people want to, I mean, this is probably the first time I say it in my interviews.
Okay.
But my mixing style comes from the progressive house DJs.
Okay.
Because they had like some very long and smooth mixes, and I liked the way Sasha and Digwin mixed, and I liked the fact that it was long, smooth mixes, and everything was on key.
Yeah.
So that's what I adapted that to my So
like long transition.
yeah.
Okay.
And to this day, I even listen to I don't go out, and I don't really go out a lot, but I think one day I will actually purchase a ticket and go listen to them.
I mean, you should. He always comes in stereo in Montreal. You should do that.
The problem is that usually comes when I've had a gig, and at 2 a.m. I just want to go home and sleep.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, it's difficult to stay awake.
I'm old. I'm getting old now.
No. You're good. Man. Thank you so much for the interview. Thank you guys for watching. As always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video to a person you think would like the video. Thank you, JaBIG. I appreciate your time, man. Really a very good conversation as always. Thank you guys. See you on the next one.